Yes. Welcome. You are on the B to Have Livestream. The music you're listening to is the music from Doctah B's Medicine Music Collective Special Edition. This track is called You, A-E-I-O-U. It's tuned to 432 hertz, which is the frequency that helps to tap you into Mother Earth and the cosmos. It's using instruments from around the world to create a groove, to make you move. We create medicine music that keeps us centered, grounded, creating balance. Yes, that project is available at elevationtime.com. It has over 7 hours worth of medicine music. Medicine music is a term we came up with in 1999, realizing that medicine was vibrational and can be taken through the ears and the body. Yes, 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 yes. So as you vibe on the music, imagine yourself grounded. Imagine your feet are touching the earth and you're connecting to the center of all things. Let your friends know we're on. Let your family know we're on. Live. Yes, yes, yes. We'd like to welcome you all in. I see Dawn Osborne is backstage. Let's bring her on in. Good day, Dawn.
Good day. Good day. Joyful day. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a wonderful day here in California. We're not experiencing all this beautiful sunlight. It's not sunny Southern California today, but it's a beautiful day nonetheless.
Same thing here. I'm in Atlanta right now, and it's overcast. But, even when it's overcast, the sun's rays are still traveling through the clouds. You can get a suntan even when it's cloudy. People, sometimes may not realize that the sun is not being stopped. Only thing that we're recognizing or seeing or perceiving is the cloudiness.
It's sometimes more powerful because it has to burn through the clouds. And so I was at a jazz festival last Sunday, and I went to take a picture, and I noticed that my nose was bright red, sitting in overcast, but I had a bright red nose. So the sun is oftentimes more powerful, and we forget about it burning through the clouds or coming through the clouds when we're sitting there and it's not bright and sunny.
We'd like to welcome everybody to another session, another talk, another conversation. These are sessions that are created to help folks who may need a little boost, a little uplift, or to gain some information and learn, or just share and be a part of a beautiful community. So thank you all for coming. If you're here for the first time, let us know you're here for the first time and how you got here, or how'd you hear about this? And if you've been here before, let us know where you're coming from, what state, what city, which country. We realize now we've got people from all over the world who are connected, and the internet has done an amazing thing of connecting people who normally would never meet. So we're thankful for this vibrational space that we're in here in 2026. So if you're here for the first time, let us know you're here for the first time. Welcome. If you've been here before, let us know where you're coming from. So this moon is pretty heavy, Dawn, huh?
This moon is pretty intense. It's an Aries moon. It's wrapped into all kinds of things, and I'm not deep into astrology, but I am very much into the gravitational pulls that happen with full moons and the difference that is present with new moons, and I'm definitely feeling this full moon.
Yeah. And they say this is some special moon too, I don't know, because I'm not really connected. That's not my ministry. But without them even saying that this was a special situation, you can feel it, can't you?
You can definitely feel it. And then I know that in May, because there's actually 13 moons a year, right? Because there's a 28-day moon cycle. So we end up with 13 full moons as opposed to 12 going month by month. And in May, we have 2 full moons. So I am aware of that. So there's always a lot of planetary movement that we don't necessarily look at as having an impact on what's going here, but the gravitational pull is everything. And so, no different than the very popular Mercury in retrograde, which has been just become a catchphrase. There's so much planetary movement. I mean, I know that just last month we had 7 planets that were all lined up. And so, all of that movement creates activity and pulls and everything here in this realm, in this dimension, right?
Yes.
Because we are interdimensional beings, but we're not going to go into that. That's a whole nother show.
Yes. But we are all created from stardust. And so we're connected to the cosmos. We're connected to everything. And even though sometimes we feel we're individuals and that, we're alone, we're not. We're everything, and everything is us. So if you're feeling that and you're feeling things, allow your feelings to, direct you. And, we're going to talk about this deeper today about psychic parasites, psychic pathogens. And we're in chapter 14 of the book, which is doing very, very well. The book, What's Eating You, which was an interesting journey to write. I had to deal with a bunch of my own psychic pathogens, even to create. See, I started getting fumbly around it because it's emotional. What it took to actually create these pages of this book. And we all have a book. We all are a book. We're a movie. We're a story. And we do sometimes have to deal with things that block us or challenge us. And parasites, mental, physical, and energetic parasites are things that challenge us. It's part of the opposition in life. And without opposition, we really don't have great lives. There was an experiment where they planted some trees in a greenhouse, big, tall greenhouse. And just 50 feet away outside of the greenhouse, they planted some more trees, same tree, same species. The ones inside the greenhouse grew really fast and really tall and really big. The ones outside didn't grow so fast. They took time because they were dealing with weather, the conditions of the stars, the moons, and all of those things, right? But what happened all of a sudden, all of the trees that were growing inside the greenhouse just died suddenly.
Oh, wow.
They weakened and died because there was no resistance. There was no challenge. There was no opposition inside the greenhouse. They were protected.
So they weren't built to survive.
They weren't built to survive. Now they got sunlight through the glass at the top of the greenhouse, but they fed them special water, you know what I'm saying? And, fertilized water and, took care of them like, pampered them. A lot of us want to be pampered. We love being pampered.
Absolutely.
And we have to look at that. And the trees that grew outside had to deal with nature and storms and cloudy days. They had to deal with ups and downs and, all kinds of things that nature provides, which we consider, opposition or resistance. But without resistance, there is no strength. You see?
There's no resilience without resistance.
No resilience.
Wow.
So think about that as we go through the many challenges, because, we at some point, our culture, not all of it, but a lot of our culture today is about complaining about how hard it is and what we're going through and how bad it is. And, things are getting worse. And I had several clients this week talking about how bad it was. It just got worse and worse. And it's getting worse. And it's just terrible. And look at the TV and look what's going on. And I'm saying, what if you didn't have a TV? What if you just had to deal with life on your own terms, deal with what's right in front of you? There's always going to be challenge. There's always going to be opposition, which strengthens us. You see, even with a cell, I mean, there's a, a certain amount of pressure outside of the cell, and
Mhm.
there's a certain amount of pressure inside of each cell. And the cell membrane has to deal with that pressure and equalize that pressure. You see, so when you eat certain things, you go through certain things, the cell pressure changes. You
Right.
see, and the strongest cells are the ones who have been through the most challenge. The strongest people, the most successful people, have been through a lot of challenge. So a part of what we're going through right now is testing us, preparing us for what's to come, because we're going through a huge change.
We are going through a huge change. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about the word testimony,
Mm,
and where it comes from, right? When you talk about test, but the it's derived from the word monium, which is state and action. So it's the tests and it's the state and the action. So just think about that word testimony, because I always believe that my testimony is never for me. What I've been through is always so that as I encounter the next person, that person that's experiencing what I've experienced, I would be able to assist them through that process. But thinking of the word testimony and thinking about resilience that comes through challenge, just how it all aligns.
so, we think of parasites as being bad, scary creatures living inside of us, bugs. We don't like bugs. But actually, parasites can actually help to create wellness, because certain parasites are there to eat up toxic waste.
Right.
There's certain parasites that live in the colon, right? Their job is to clean up toxic waste. And even though we want to kill all the parasites, we keep hearing this. If you are into biology at a deep level, you realize that you never want to kill all the parasites, especially all the parasites in your colon.
Right.
First of all, you can't, but you can strip the colon and the lining to the point where it can't support, a healthy microbiome. Now, the healthy microbiome or friendly bacteria are not parasitic. Okay. Parasites are things that live on or in something and uses that thing as a host. It may
Hmm.
use that thing for its energy, for its nutrition. It may use that thing that it lives in to help transport it from one place to another. And parasites have a place on this planet. In fact, there's more of them than anything else on the earth. But psychic pathogens or psychic parasites, and pathogens is another way to say parasites, because pathogens are states of illness
Hmm.
or imbalance, or what we call dis-ease. And psychic has to do with the mind. You know, how you go see the psychic
Right.
reader. She's supposed to be reading your mind. A lot of times what the
Right.
psychic reader is doing is reading you, because as soon as you walk in the room, you have a certain look on your face, you walk in a certain way, you can read a person right away. Say, oh yeah, I can tell the world's been kicking your ass. Your ass. And your RAS, right, is your reticular activating system. Your
Right.
RAS. Your RAS is your reticular activating
Activated
system.
system. And the world has been shaking it up.
It's been shaking it up, man. It's kicking your RAS. And what is the RAS? What does it do? It's a part of your brain, and your brain stem. It's about maybe 3 inches, about the size of your little finger.
Hmm.
And your reticular activating system is a filtering network that filters out everything but what you, the captain, the commander, or the CEO of the business, would like.
Hmm.
What would you like? Well, what you're thinking about the most, what you're talking about the most, the reticular activating system picks up and says, let's filter out everything but that.
Right.
So if you're talking about how bad the world is, the reticular activating system is following orders. Let's filter out everything but that. And what's interesting is, and let's say you like a red Corvette. Do they still have Corvettes?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's say you want a red Corvette, and you start looking at magazines and start going to places and thinking about it. You start seeing them everywhere.
Right.
You weren't even noticing them. See, this is how the law of attraction works. The law of attraction has to do with the reticular activating system. And of course, we're going to have Dr. Mahdi on again soon because he breaks this down on a scientific level that's just amazing. So
I love Dr. Mahdi.
Yeah,
we have one question, Dr. B, in the chat, and it was Adrian 5925 asked, can parasites cause focal seizures? She has her autistic son that was just diagnosed with focal seizures, and she was wondering if that could be caused by parasites.
Now, I'm going to be very careful because, first of all, we're not medical doctors.
Absolutely.
We're not a part of the American medical system, any of the three-letter organizations. We haven't been trained, programmed, and brainwashed. I mean, haven't been taught to see things the way they see. And a lot of times they are a part of the Flexner, programming. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
So these type questions, I would say that you contact us. Because if I start saying certain things publicly, the little black helicopters may come and get me. So I attempt to be very careful in how I talk about things like autism and things where the nervous system may be picking up frequencies that we don't understand. And there's also talents and abilities that this person has that we may not know about.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I can't say that parasites could be a part of that. They might be. Some folks are saying that it's got to do with vaccines, could have to do with processed sugar, could have to do with many things that we see. Autism, all these things that have to do with the nervous system, Alzheimer's, dementia, ADD, ADHD, they all, in my opinion, this is just Dr. B's opinion, have a lot to do with what's in our environment today and what we've allowed to be in our environment. These things that we use in the house that's supposed to smell, these plug it in things. I went to a client's house one time and they had one in every socket. The house smelled like, I was like, what is that smell? Oh, that's strawberry rush. What? Strawberry rush? What is that? It's natural.
Not strawberry rushing.
It is like we put these little essential oils in here, Dr. B. Let me show you. And they had this stuff that was like some petrochemical, it was deep. And they were burning that in their house. And they wanted to make it smell for me good when I got there. This was
almost took you out.
I said, I can't do it. I don't have my gas mask. You know what I'm saying? I don't have my ET outfit, my lab hand gloves, and all that stuff.
We did the conference with Billy Carson, and they had them all over that venue. Remember?
Oh yeah,
they had them all over that venue.
Whew. Remember we walked in,
and we had it was like the first thing before we set up a table. We're going to every socket,
and we had them piled up, and then we had to open the doors. Because she wanted, the lady who owned the venue wanted this place to smell good. Well, see, a lot of times what these things are doing is they're turning off your olfaction system. Your olfaction system is, what you use to smell. It doesn't smell good. It's turning off your natural smell instincts and covering them up with poison. The body goes into fight or flight immediately when it's around poisons and toxins. Period. But the point that I was making earlier is that we have allowed and agreed that a lot of these poisons and toxins and activities that we're involved with now are normal. They're natural. It's okay. Right. Where years and years ago, you go back 10 years ago, some of these things you would never have done. But slowly you begin to agree. You go over your best friend's house, they have one plug it in. You go over somebody else's house, they got 3 plug it ins. Then all of a sudden you're agreeing that strawberries smell like this. That's strawberry rush.
Right.
We're being attacked. The rushes are coming. There's a lot of things. A lot of things that we agree to are actually causing our nervous systems to just break down. So these things that are causing nervous disruption and dysregulation has a lot to do with what we're agreeing, what we're around, what we're seeing, even the colors and flashes of lights through television and these screens that we're watching with blue light. It's a lot of things we're allowing in our environment, which are causing our nervous systems to dysregulate.
I find myself doing simple neuro hacks to bring myself into balance at different times throughout the day. I think that the ability to have all of our meetings on Zoom and everything else is wonderful. But we don't realize now we're having these meetings and we're looking at these people and they're centered in front of us. And so what we're receiving energetically is from 10 different people in front of us all at the same time with all these different energies. And if you're at all sensitive energetically, it can, you have to stop and pause. And so I do my little neural hacks to bring myself back into balance. And I guess my little neural hacks aren't that little, but they certainly work.
It's another thing we've been taught. That's a psychic pathogen to always belittle ourselves. Right. My little company, my little house on the prairie. Why it got to be small? And who says it's small? To an ant, that house is huge.
Right.
It's got to do with perception.
And I think today, like when you ask me how I'm doing, how am I today? Today I'm in my having space. I mean, sometimes you have your being space, your doing space. Today I'm having a wonderful time. I'm having abundantly in all areas of my life. And so that's mental, physical, financial. So why not start the month out with being in a place of having, receiving, allowing. And it's all in the language. And it's very fitting that we're in this chapter of the book because the mental parasites, the reticular activation system, all of those things, we can be in the drive. We're in the driver's seat. I am driving today, right? And I choose to continue to be the driver in my vehicle.
Let's say that again. Can we say that again?
I choose to continue to be the driver in my vehicle.
There is our main statement for today. That's our goal.
Right.
And when you say that, the reticular activating system, your RAS, right, begins to only focus on what you are thinking, saying, and doing. So like when I mentioned earlier, you walk into place, the person has this, strawberry or whatever fruit smelling stuff, and you agree to it and you stay there, right? It's like the captain says, this is okay. So now you're doing it and you're going other places and it becomes normal and natural for us to have these unnatural activities that we do. So you're driving your vehicle through a storm. Your reticular activating system is attracting whatever it is you're focusing on. So if you focus on more natural ways, more natural habits, these things actually will attract more of themselves. So that is the law of attraction and how it works. So the psychic pathogens, they creep in when we begin to agree that things that are totally unnatural and harmful are okay. Yes. Because everybody's doing it. At that point, we start minding somebody else's business. Minding your business and businessing your mind is extremely important for you to have something you're focused on each day that moves you towards the destination that's yours.
Right.
But we get caught up in the commercials. We get caught up in all these things. So as we move into this this talk today, what I'd like to do is welcome everybody. I see we got 113 is jumping back and forth. And actually, there's more people than when we can see because a lot of people are in the blind. In other words, they have a internet filter where they can't be seen, which is a good idea. What I'd like to do is have everybody check in right now and give yourself a number of how you feel. Give yourself a number. 0, you're way down. Oh my God, it's terrible. Oh my God. And let's not even go to 10. Let's go to 20. I usually 10 is not high enough. Between 10 and 20, oh my gosh, 20, my life is the best life ever. Everything is amazing. Everything is happening. And I live like Dawn Osborne.
Can you all just put in the chat your number where you are? Because I would like you also to be able to reflect back to where you were at that moment. Because as we spend time moving through this energy, you will be able to just reflect back. And so from 1 to 20, where are you? Yes. What vibration are you in right now at this moment? I see some 14s, 15s, 16s, 8s, 5s, 7s. And so I love that, Adrian. I'm almost there where I need to be. I love that. I'm 20 and pushing. I love it. I love it.
So let's all give ourselves permission to raise our number. Give yourself permission to push past the number that you have. Just close your eyes for a minute. Give yourself permission. It's okay. You don't need to call anybody and ask anybody if it's okay for you to be at your highest vibration. You create that in your mind, and that tells your reticular activating system to do what you're saying to do so that you can be and have. Somebody's at 100. Well, you know,
someone's at 999.
Whoever's this at 100, they need to get in touch with us because we're looking for some folks that would like to volunteer to work with us. Who was that's at 100? What do you do? Send us a letter. Let us know. Those folks with higher than 20s, let us know what you do. Who you
right.
We could use you. We're looking for agents of good. So we'd like to ask permission before we get really deep right now. Is it okay if we share with you some information that you may have never heard before or may give you a different perspective or something that you could use in your day? Would it be okay? And is it okay if we make this a little fun and not be so serious and so strict? Would that be okay? And would it be okay if we talk about some things that could stir up the pot, cause a little agitation, bring up some sludge from down at the bottom of your subconscious?
Some sludge.
That's a good one now. Subconscious sludge. Write that down. Some subconscious sludge. That could be a television program. Tonight on the Subconscious Sludge, Doctah B has a pickaxe and a shovel. He's going down to break up the concrete foundation of the average person. Yes, good. Then let's move forward. So, Dawn.
Yes, it is.
This is part 2 of the psychic pathogens. So these are energetic and mental parasites that a lot of us have adopted from our culture, from our ways, from our habits, from our parents, from our society. So where would you like to start, Dawn?
I'm going to start on page 145. And
how many of you have the book?
How many of you have the book? What's eating you? My book is right there.
Ooh. It looks great next to that plant.
It does.
Wow.
I keep it on display. I've been doing a lot of Reiki and a lot of hypnotherapy. And so I have some clients that are ordering them. I have to get a supply of books here in Los Angeles and some cleanses so that people can pick them up right here in LA.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start reading from page 145, and I'm going to go down to the third paragraph. There's a Buddhist concept called the realm of hungry ghosts. My take on that is this disagreeable feeling and unresolved emotions from the past constantly haunt us. They should be dead and buried, yet their energy lingers. These memories act like ghosts that feed on our energy, eating us alive day by day and leaving behind mental scar tissue. This pattern often begins in early adulthood. The human brain isn't fully developed until around the age of 25,
Mm.
meaning many life defining decisions, ideas, conclusions, and beliefs were made before our minds were even complete. Think about that. Imagine a computer without a fully functional central processing unit. Its calculations could never be trusted. How many of your choices are made under pressure, fear, or conditioning before we had all of our mental circuits online? How many of those premature decisions now haunt us? May our parents, Many of our parents, doing what they thought was best, made us choose careers, religions, politics, friends, or even life partners long before we knew who we truly were or what we wanted. Often we made those decisions under emotional duress to please them. Yet, many of our parents were never fulfilled or free themselves. They followed their own programs, often suppressing their dreams. And I would say to just to add to this, they also made decisions in their premature full brain development state,
Wow.
right? And so um, kind of takes me back to the four agreements where some of the agreements you get aren't even yours. Some of the agreements you live by aren't yours. Well, some of the agreements they live by weren't theirs, and they took those as agreements in an underdeveloped brain state. That's deep.
That's part of the
Children are
domestication process he talks about.
part of the domestication process. Yes. Yes. Children are born with natural talents and unique frequencies, but they're taught to deny, hide, or abandon them in the name of grow up. The result, most adults are living lives based on the conclusions of their childhood selves. When present day events resemble past emotional triggers, the line between then and now blurs. The subconscious doesn't recognize time. The body and mind react as though the past is happening again automatically without conscious awareness.
Hmm.
Animals don't do this. A gazelle being chased by a lion releases adrenaline and cortisol to escape, but once it's safe, those hormones are burned off and the animal returns to calm within minutes. Humans, however, replay mental lions daily without even burning off the stress. That's deep. This is why modern humans live in constant state of flight or fright or freeze. A constant state of fight, flight, or freeze. Wow.
You know, you
Many,
get frozen, you get that, you don't even move, you don't do anything.
right.
That's freeze.
Yeah. Many have even become addicted to it. They crave the adrenaline rush of drama and chaos. When there's no drama around them, the mind searches for it or creates it. The reticular activating system, or RAS, becomes trained to look for tension. Over time, pleasure and pain merge into one confused feedback loop, and dopamine, the feel good hormone, reinforces the addiction. These individuals become literally hooked on drama, addicted to the chemical high of emotional turbulence. They're, they remain doped up on their own stress hormones.
Mm, mm,
Stop
mm,
there, Dr. B.
mm.
Okay. Okay. They may also cling to identities rooted in oppression, trauma, or victimhood. They've learned to survive by blaming others rather than taking command of their power. They've never become leaders of their own lives because the parasite convinces them that it's easier to stay small. Violence, bullying, oppression, addiction, poverty, illness, and racism have become normalized through repetition fed daily by media, movies, music, and social platforms. The subconscious doesn't distinguish fiction from reality. To the unconscious mind, every screen event is an experience. The result is a world of people whose stress hormones never deactivate, living with stored adrenaline and cortisol in their tissues, hearts, and nervous systems. This is chronic PTSD. These individuals live in a perpetual state of survival, never returning to a state of peace. Chronic stress is one of the top contributors to modern disease because literally it eats us alive. Our thoughts and emotions are reflected in every area of our lives, whether we're aware of it or not. Our behaviors, beliefs, and experiences are shaped by mental files stored deep beneath the conscious awareness. This level of subconscious or unconsciousness sets boundaries of what we can become. It sets boundaries of what we can become because we're stuck in fight, flight, or freeze. That's wild. These programs repeated over the years become habits. Thinking and acting in self defeating ways may feel normal because the subconscious repeatedly concludes that no longer align with current reality. Wow. Mental parasites are those outdated program, ideas, and emotions lodged in the subconscious, feeding on our energy and distorting perception. They drain us like psychic pathogens, consuming mental and emotional resources. The result is confusion, delusion, depression, trauma, addiction, syndrome, and self sabotage. I just treated a woman who was suffering from uh, plateauing because she would get to a certain level and then she would plateau and then she'd go back down. And so we had to root that out with hypnotherapy and uh, give her, work with her suggestions, her internal suggestions, so that she would continue to ascend because her repeated pattern was plateauing. She would get to a plateau, and in her subconscious mind, that's as far as she could go. Kind of like the flea in the jar, right? And you take the lid off, and it only still jumps to where the lid was.
So we had fish in the lab in school, and we had a big fish tank, and we put a glass divider in the middle of the fish tank,
Mm-hmm.
and we had all the fish on one side, and on the other side there was nothing but water. So we left it that way for 28 days.
Mm-hmm.
Then we removed the divider.
Mm-hmm.
The fish that were on the one side never would venture to the other side. It was almost like they would bump up against glass when they
Mm-hmm.
attempted to go to the other side. So then the teacher says, watch this. We haven't fed the fish for 2 days. We're going to put fish food on the side that where there was only water.
Mm-hmm.
The fish all lined up and looked at the food, but would not
Wow.
venture because their programming was that there was a divider between them and what they desired. How many of you have a self limitation governor that keeps you small or keeps you from moving towards something that could be great for you, or keeps you choosing, like in relationships? You know, the lady told me she liked me. I said, why? She said, well, you look just like my ex-husband. I said, well, what happened with him? He was crazy as a nutshell. So I said, well, she says, she got your hair. It's like y'all almost twins. Would you like to go out on a date? Are you taken? I said, well, if I go out with you, I will be taken. Because you have an alien mindset that if you don't notice that the man had drama, you had to run and escape. And now you want to go get somebody who looks like him. We sometimes keep moving towards what we are used to.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd like to change it. Like in
Right.
relationships. We want to change it. It'll be different this time. But that's a part of limitation. That's like the psychic pathogen, right, in your mind that's making you think that you could change something that's toxic. And sometimes the toxicity is you because you
Right.
keep attracting the same you. What causes you to attract the people you're attracting is your energy, your vibration, your frequency. You see what I'm saying? I could tell you, I probably would, if I would have gone to her house, she would have had strawberry rush. I went, you know, years ago, I met this lady. And she was telling me how she had this beautiful altar she had built in her house, right? She had this table with all this stuff on it. And there were all these little dinosaurs and lizards, plastic. I said, what are those for? Well, that's to scare off the reptilians. So where'd you learn this? Well, I went to this lecture, this guy, he's a blah, 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 blah. And, you know, we got to have these plastic reptiles on the altar. And I asked her a question. I says, so do you think the reptilians that you think exist are going to be scared away by those plastic Toys R Us dinosaurs? And did you, as a grown woman, go to Toys R Us and buy those things? She said, yeah, it was on sale. It was, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow. So a lot of things are symbolic, right? And we believe it's going to do something. But the actual reptilian is the you. We all have a reptilian. See, when we're being developed in utero, we go through stages. First, we're aquatic at first. We're aquatic. We live in water. We live in this amniotic fluid. And then we begin to develop and we become something that lives in the water and on land. And we keep going through these 7 stages of development. So we all have a part of us that's considered the reptilian brain. That's the one that just reacts. That's the one that's just reacting all the time. And a lot of us are doing that. And we keep talking about who's a reptile. I saw the president the other day. I saw a video of his eyes changing into reptilian eyes. Well, if you're noticing that and you saw it, that means it's a part of you because you're attracting you. Your reticular activating system is looking more of what you're focusing on. Right. Everybody's a reptile next. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot about what we're thinking and what we're it's like an illness or an imbalance that we have to learn how to reduce. And when you begin to focus your energy more on what you really desire, that's what we call minding your business. Like that person went to the lecture, they know nothing about reptilians and they weren't thinking about Toys R Us dinosaurs.
Right.
But now you saw the people in line and they were clapping and the people were there. They were all pumped up because homeboy had African clothes on and he talked really loud about reptiles. So you went and bought this stuff because you were caught up in the wave of excitement about how to protect yourself from yourself.
Right.
So a lot of these ceremonies and rituals that we begin to get into, we have to do some sort of check-in to see if that's really for us. And that's why I do psychological kinesiology, and we're going to be teaching a course on that soon on how to do muscle testing to know if something is for us or not. And I was concerned because a couple of those little dinosaurs, she had also little incense charcoal, disc to burn resins, and some of the dinosaurs got burnt. Some of the dinosaur, one of his eye, his face was gone. I was like, well, what happened here? Well, the dinosaur got too close to the charcoal and got burnt. And you kept it? And did you smell the plastic? You should have went back to Toys R Us and got you a new dinosaur. But it's a lot of stuff that we're into because we think and we feel this is really great. And I'm only I'm only bringing up one situation, but I'm sure a lot of you, if you look, you can see how many things you may be into that somebody else influenced you to be into that really at the root may not be for you. You got to learn to mind your business and business your mind, and notice when you're feeding the psychic parasites and the fear and the programming that came from upbringing.
The mental parasites, and that's in the next paragraph. I guess I should begin reading again.
Yeah,
because I was gonna go into the mental parasites, but I see it's in the next paragraph. So I'll read the previous paragraph again. These parasites often drive people to unconsciously destroy their own success, keeping them trapped in cycles of limitation. You'll find people with mental parasites suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic war syndrome, post-traumatic slavery syndrome, post-traumatic relationship syndrome. Woo! Post-traumatic relationship syndrome.
Mm.
That's a mouthful right there. Post-traumatic childhood syndrome. They are haunted by outdated information and emotional software that no longer serves them. Emotional software. You know, you get all these programs and you put them on your computer. You are uploading some emotional software. There should be an alarm. Emotional software being uploaded. Toxic emotional software being uploaded. I mean, think about it, right? If you are the computer and you are uploading these programs onto your hard drive without review, without doing a virus check.
Mm.
Yeah, you have the antivirus software on your computer.
Yes.
You should have an anti-toxicity software constantly running in the background. But let me continue reading. So, these are haunted, and they're haunted by outdated information and emotional software that no longer serves them. For some, the past becomes more valuable than the present. They hoard old ideas and identities as if they'll one day be worth something. In truth, they're just clinging to expired data, the ghost of their programming. How a person functions in relationships is primarily shaped by childhood emotional imprinting. Those who grew up witnessing affection and healthy expression of love differ from those who didn't. If a child never saw love expressed, no hugs, kisses, or I love you, they may struggle to model it later. They may even associate love with turmoil or pain, equating chaos with passion. They've developed a pain is love mental parasite. Everything we do, how we speak, dress, act, and think reflects what's been programmed into the subconscious. When these programs work against our well being, they function like parasites, consuming energy and creating illusions. But no matter how we were raised or what we've endured, transformation is always possible. Many of the most successful people alive today have turned their deepest traumas into triumphs. They've learned to use adversity as a sparring partner, refining their spirit through challenge. We change our lives when we change how we think, speak, and act. We must become the conductors of our own orchestra, the captains of our own vessels, the drivers of our own vehicles, right? Until then, mental parasites steer the ship, keeping us asleep at the wheel, passengers in bondage aboard our own vessel. Any idea, emotion, belief, or habit that repeatedly impedes your growth or prevents you from reaching higher goals can be considered parasitic. Mental parasites may not.
Wait. Hold on, please.
Okay, yes.
Outside, as we talked about, releasing control of the vehicle, one of those robot cars drove by. We are beginning to accept some things that used to be unacceptable. Think about that. Your grandparents would never get in one of these vehicles that is controlled by a robotic. We don't know what's controlling them.
I cannot.
It's a driverless car.
I have not. It's not for me. That's not for me.
You have relinquished control and typed into an electronic device where you would like to go. And it taps into who you are, everything about you. When you just ask for this thing to come get you, this is deeper than looking for ride share and those things. This is an autonomous machine that the minute you call for it, It ties into every credit card transaction you've ever made. It knows your bank. It knows how many. I was going to say something. I won't say that. But the dude did tell me. I'm going to just tell you what the man told me. He says, that dang car knows how many condoms I done bought. I thought about it. If you paid for them with a card, it knows everything about you. You've relinquished all your power and you get in this vehicle so the vehicle can take you where, and people think it's cool. Just the amount of electronics bouncing around in that aluminum can. Have you noticed that you'll never see bugs around those? If you go to those places where those recharging stations are, it's no bugs. No birds.
No bugs.
Squirrels and everything running the other way because the amount of electrical energy. But we are being convinced that all this, non-freeness is okay. Just get in the car. Autopilot. How many of your lives, and let's move away from the electronic devices, how many of your lives are on autopilot? How many of you are living your life based on these programs that are waiting to be broken? So would you like to be an autonomous being? Would you like to have your life be your life? Well, first you got to make some choices here. What is your business? When we say mind your business and business your mind, we're going to be talking about that, how to figure out and filter out and clean out and clear out and let go of a lot of things that we think are our business, but they're not, because they're not the best for you. First of all, let me say this. Have we thought about how many things we just go along with? We don't question anymore. Humans are the only beings on the planet that I know of that will do so many things to create their own demise. That is deep. They say there is a sense of disgust that we have lost in this modern world. Things that used to be disgusting. Like back in the day, my grandmother used to talk about she would never feed her babies that baby food, that I don't want to say the name, the ugly baby food, the ugly baby on the baby food. You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about, that ugly baby.
I do know the food with the unattractive child on it.
The ugly baby food.
Well, I think you have to move out of following societal norms. That's dangerous. Following societal norms can be dangerous, right? Because you lose your individuality and your ability to question. Yeah, I'm not ever stopping. Will not stop questioning. I'm going to lose my ability to choose what's best for me. Again, I am that driver of my own vehicle. And when you lose your sense of individuality, and start following societal norms, you don't know where you're going to end up.
And this, in no way are we're saying that this is easy to break out of the spell, to offload, to eradicate the mental and sometimes energetic spiritual pathogens. But it is simple by taking steps, one little step at a time.
Continuity, continuing to be in a space where you're taking those steps. There's power in repetition. We don't realize the things that we repeat that keep us captive. So if you change the way you're looking at things, right, you will, and you change what you're repeating, you will change your outcomes. right? If you consistently commit to being the driver in your vehicle and using tools like I do to reset my nervous system, like, whoop, wait a minute, it's too much coming in from outside. Let me stop and reset. Or microdosing, or doing different things that reset your nervous system. Um, yes, I allow, but I also conduct. Like when I saw here that you were the conductor, the driver, the conductor, you be in charge of you, right? It's really important to be in charge of you because people, I've read someone repeatedly talking about coming out of a toxic relationship. We become entangled and lose sight of what's drive. Just like what's eating you, we lose sight of what's driving you. You lose sight of what's
Mm,
driving you.
that's the next book.
That's the next book, Doctor B.
What's driving you?
What's driving you?
Who's
Who's in your
driving Miss Who's driving Miss Daisy?
Who's in your driver's seat
You see?
today?
Do you have your seatbelt on?
Maybe you should take it off and jump out the car.
You see what I'm saying? In case there's an
Stop,
accident.
drop, and roll.
In case there's an accident, it will protect you. An accident
Um,
could be you attempting to break free
right.
from a parasitic situation,
Absolutely.
parasitic habits.
Yes. Right. And so you have to embody the change you want to become in the world. And you have, but the change you desire. But the thing is this, most importantly, I called one of my spiritual mentors this week and I told her, I said, there's something that's not moving. She said, okay, well, she gave me 3 things to do and then it's something to envision and boom, 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 boom. It was done just that quickly. So you've got to be in tune with yourself enough to know, I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me tap into another source. Let me call Dr. B for a consultation so that I can reset. Um, Let me go in for a Reiki session so that I can reset. Because sometimes that resetting, you just need a little assistance. Um, every so often, I need a Reiki session. Um, every so often, I need to, whether I'm Reikiing myself or, well, I don't have a local Reiki master that I work with, but I do have one. My Reiki master, my sensei, I have the ability to call there because not everybody can fill my well. Who's filling your well,
Mm.
right? When you get to that space and your well needs to be refilled, I I have been so blessed to be able to have Dr. B who could pour into my well, and I know that what's being poured in is pure. Everybody can't pour into your well. So how are you recharging? How are you refueling? And what are you doing with those mental parasites? How are you resetting? Right? And so minding your business and businessing your mind. Um, in this class, you will be equipped with tools that can assist you in those resets, even if it's just assisting you enough for you to step outside to get totally recharged. Like I need to reset, I will um, align myself, and then I may need to tap into another source, but I can at least get aligned enough to realize that I need to tap into another source because mental parasites are something, they're a real thing.
I think that some people are here for the first time or haven't heard about this class, Dawn.
Oh,
You've talked about the class. Let's
I've talked about the class.
how the
So,
book ties into the class and how this all ties into the reticular activating system and becoming the driver of your vehicle.
so we've given the class a date, which is June
What
6th.
class?
The class is Mind Your Business and Business Your Mind. Um, Last week we had a wonderful conversation. And in that conversation, we realized that we needed to make an offering. And so we started by asking those that were interested in this offering to send an email. And the offering was for a class that was Mind Your Business, Business Your Mind. Um,
And we got a subtitle now: Personal Business Management Funding Acquisition. Well, personal business management and funding acquisition, right?
Personal business management and funding acquisition. Mind your business and business your mind. Because what we found is we get in our own way and we are not moving into a place of ascension and manifestation. I expressed last week that I am a money magnet. Money comes to me with ease and grace. And so, how do you break out of that box? As I spoke about the woman that was continually plateauing, we will give you tools so that you can. How do you find how to fund your dream? We'll show you how to fund your dream. We'll show you how to break out of that box, how to mind your business and business your mind. Because what we find is sometimes people aren't able to mind their business because they're not businessing their mind.
Mm.
Um, they're not the drivers in their own vehicle. And so when we talk about these mental parasites, one, the personal business management and funding acquisition, mind your business and business your mind, and the class begins on June 6th. And so when we talk about the mental parasites, one, you need to do the cleanse. We have the basic cleanse, we have the total body cleanse. Um, I feel amazing. My eyesight has improved. My energy is through the charts. Um, the people that were unable to keep up with me before are wondering where I am now because I've lost the realm. I've moved out of their sight because the cleanse has me on um, another plane. So between the cleanse, what's eating you, and the music from the medicine drum, and or the medicine music that is available um, on elevationtime.com. With those three, the combination of those three, and the neural hacks and um, business minding or minding your business, neurological hacks, tips, and strategies that we'll be giving in this class, um, you will go to the next level. That's funny. I used to have a company called Next Level. And so it was Next Level Business Management. And so um, you very well might get 2 tracks with your book, but the rest of those medicine music tracks are so worth having. Um, we will be diving in to not just funding acquisition, the tools. What is your business plan looking like? So when you talk about minding your business and business in your mind, do you have a business plan? Have you been thinking in ink? How are you telling your story? How do I know what you want and need? And are you ready to answer my question or the question from an angel investor or a funder in an instant without hesitation? Well, how much do you need? Are you going to pause, stutter step, or will you be able to say it's going to take $5 million to not only bring this to fruition, but put it in a place of perpetual success so that it can ascend and become a $25 million venture in the next 3 years? Can you confidently say that without hesitation, with 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 confidence, with ease, with grace, so that the money follows? Oh, what is that? I was teaching a class just last week, and one of the panelists with me said that money follows the energy. So the energy of confidence, the energy of strength, the energy of I got my ish together, money will follow that, right? And so you absolutely better know how much. Because the funder already knows if they're asking you how much you need, they're already aware. They've done their due diligence. They are aware of what it's going to take to bring that to fruition. And even if they're not completely aware and they need to see your budget, they are aware of what it will take, to the point of they know when you're underselling. So if you tell me it's going to cost $500,000 to produce something, or if you tell me it's going to cost $50,000 and I know it's a $500,000 project, I'm not giving you my money. I'm not funding what you're doing because you will not be able to bring it to fruition to a level that makes it worth my investment of my time, my energy, and my money. So if I were to ask you, how much money do you need? How many of you would be able to tell me exactly what you need at this moment? Put in the chat how much you need to bring that thing to fruition. And if you're interested in being in this class, I need you to send an email to dawn@elevationtime.com and to give me 2 paragraphs on why you want to be in this master class. Tell us why.
Dawn.
Yeah.
So as you talk about business, I go to the person that says, I don't have a business. I don't want a business. I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
Your mouth is a business. Your life is a business. And if you realize that your whole life, everything you do, what you eat, how you eat, who you hang out with, is a busyness, and you look at it just like a business that you'd like to build.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the correlation energetically, consciously, subconsciously. It's the same thing. So if somebody asks you, what do you desire? Every session, I did a 4-hour in-home session this week. I haven't done one of those in a long time. Beautiful man and his wife going through some challenges. Asked me what I do. A session with them, a long, extended session, and it was beautiful. And the question I kept asking it is, what do you desire?
Right.
That's my first question. And what folks habitually begin to say, if it's a physical issue, they begin to name all the illnesses that they may have or imbalances that they have, and they say they don't want them. Well, I would like to know what you would like. If it's a mental or spiritual issue, I ask them, well, what would you like? What do you desire? And they begin to mention habitually, almost like a psychic pathogen is controlling their mouth. They mention what they in no way would like. So it's important to have it in your mind, your great ask. You're asking the universe, right? Which is like an investor. Look at it like that. There's someone you're asking for, you're asking a business, a person to invest in your business, but you're also asking with your words and your actions every day for the universe to invest in you. So if we could say, first of all, when we talk to anyone who might ask, what do you desire? We're moving towards minding our business. And a successful business owner many times doesn't look at the competition. Like me, I never look at the competition. People say, well, Dr. B, there's a lot of competition out there. Everybody's talking about parasites. First of all, they could talk about parasites all day long.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been in it for over 40 years in this lane. They don't have the insights that I have about this subject. And they usually mention some simple cleanses that you could do to get rid of parasites. Well, I was at the store the other day, and I happened to walk by, and I walked by the area in the hardware store where they had all these things to get rid of different bugs. They had 14 different things to get rid of different types of bugs. This was for aphids. This was for hornets. This one was for ants. This is one for roaches. This one was for spiders. And I was like, wow, why do we need all this? Because when you say bugs, there's millions and millions of different types of bugs. And you
Right.
can't have a spray or some powder that gets rid of them all. There's like 5,000 different types of roaches. Did you know this? This is why you say, well, I did put down the powder and I don't see the big ones. I just see the little ones. Well, there's German roaches and there's Russian roaches and there's, there's, I don't know, there's a lot of different species. So when we talk about parasites and you say, I got something to kill parasites, first of all, how many different types of parasites are there? Some are like arthropods. Arthropods are bugs that have a shell, like shrimps, roaches, crabs, lobsters. These are all considered arthropods. They are not going to be affected by the same stuff. So you have to study the rhythms of nature and the biorhythms and what levels and entities you're dealing with at certain times.
Right.
So I'm in the business of helping people get rid of their parasites, the bad ones, because there might be a couple you'd like to keep. You see? So that is a very special process and it can't be done simply. And today with marketing, we just say stuff. This kills parasites. This kills bugs. This kills that. And we always want to kill things instead of changing our frequency. So it's about changing our frequency and realizing that the biggest bug in your life may possibly be you, your habits, and the way you think. That's why we're making this offer on this class, because we realize that business acquisition, running your business, knowing how to align yourself and manage who you are is a busyness. And if you're focused on what everybody else is doing and what the competition is doing, you can't ever be totally successful. It's about you. Back to you, Dawn.
Well, it is. And so I am my business. Mind your business, business your mind. There's one key word in that phrase, and it's mind. We all have a mind. We may not all have a business, and we may not all have a mind to start a business today. And that could be simply because our mind is cluttered with parasites. We are naturally creators. And just as we were speaking about the process called domestication, where you're oftentimes encouraged not to think on your own. What are you talking about? That's crazy. How many times has a child heard that? When a child is just being their natural creative self, expressing those things that come to mind. And when children have imaginary friends and you tell them, you don't have any, you're not seeing. Yes, imaginary friends can be a really good thing. It's a matter of allowing.
But wait, hold on now. A whole lot of us got imaginary friends, people we think are our friends, and we imagine they're friends, and we find out they're frenemies.
Frenemies.
And if you look up the word friend and you look up the etymology of that word, you may not use it so much. It does not mean what you think it means. Look up the etymology.
The etymology of friend. Look up the etymology of friend. I know a couple of weeks ago, we had someone look up the etymology and give it to us. And now we have our beautiful butterfly kiss with us, and maybe she perhaps can look up the etymology of friends. But what I want you to tap into is when we talk about mental parasites, and we talk about the cleanse, and we talk about minding your business. You may not want to start your own business. You may have developed a career and you're in a position with a company and you're quite happy there. And it has everything that you desire. There are still things there are still mental parasites. There are still limitations that have been imposed that you may not be acknowledging. Fear, the desire to remain small, especially when we're working in large environments. I'm just going to stay here. I'm not going to bother anybody. I'm not going to ruffle any feathers. Child, sometimes you got to ruffle up some feathers.
Sometimes you got to eagle up.
You got, oh my goodness. I heard something yesterday. It was a gentleman, and he was talking about how crows will land on the eagle and pick at the eagle. And the eagle does absolutely nothing but launch into flight. And the eagle flies and goes higher and higher and higher. And then eventually the eagle gets so high that the air is so thin up there that the crow just falls off and dies. So all the eagle does is eagle up. And then that nagging little pecking that the crow thinks they're doing to aggravate the eagle goes away. Oh boy.
See? That was, the dog is saying yes, 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 yes. How many of you are eagles hanging out with pigeons? Because they're your friends. That's my family. How many of you are stunting your growth because you don't want to leave your friends behind or look too good or be too successful? How many of you are doing that? How many of you are limiting yourself so that you can stay in the social group that you've been in? If that's what you like, that's okay. We're not saying that that's not something good for you, because you have to choose. But there's also those of us who realize that some of these social groups and some of these family concepts and beliefs, actually, we have to limit ourselves to stay in it. I remember being in church and I'm looking around like, what's happening? What did they just say? What are they about to do? What are they about to eat? I mean, and I was a child, and I was, I was a revolutionary, and a lot of us have special sight, special knowledge, special abilities that have not been polished. They haven't been practiced. They haven't been, used. Would you like to use them? Would you like to figure out what is your business? What is your purpose? So minding your business also has to do with your purpose. Some of us have no idea what our purpose really is because we're looking outside of ourselves and we're listening to, other people, and we're asking other people for their opinion about everything. This will have you lost in space. Remember the television show Lost? They never found themselves. Back in the 60s, they had a show, Gilligan's Island. They were always lost on this island. A lot of us have felt lost. And even when we get into this thing called consciousness and spirituality, sometimes it's just another level of lost because we're just always looking for the next spiritual teacher, always looking for the next special incense, looking for the special crystal. We're looking for the next singing bowl. We're always looking for something. But I'm saying that if we use the things that we have to our highest ability, use the thing that you have, move out of what they say about it, the thing, and tap into what it says to you. A lady, she bought a drum, but she subconsciously, when she bought the medicine drum, hit the button twice because her subconscious told her she needed 2 drums. So she called us and said, oh, well, I bought a second drum by mistake, blah, 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 blah. We find out later that 2 drums is what she needs for what she does. So she can have one at home and one in the business that she's in. The business, yes. Did you know that if you're a teacher and you play the drum before class, all the students go into this special space. They calm down, their heartbeat regulates, and they can take in more of the information. Some folks are having business meetings and they'll play a little bit of the drum before the meeting so that everybody comes into oneness. Sometimes your gut is telling you what's right, but then our mind kicks in and starts to talk to us based on the old world. Those are psychic pathogens, ideas and agreements that were made from family. We got to break spells. Are you willing to break a spell? You know, let me show you something right now. I'm going to show you something really quickly. I have chosen to only work with clients if they're going to receive the cleanse or get the cleanse who are on the cleanse. Why? Because I realize that the physical parasites that are in their cells, I realize that the energetic parasites that are in their bodies are going to cause them to never really break free from what's holding them. So folks come to me for all kinds of things. You know, they would like to achieve something. And I say, well, unless we detox at a deep, deep level, it's not going to work. So I was in the desert one day out by Las Vegas. And, you know, these are some of the places I go to get some of the plants that I use in the cleanse. And at this time, I went into some dream state out in the desert. And these plants that were growing in the desert began to call me. I do muscle testing, so I did a muscle test, and I asked, are these plants something that I need? And it was like, yes. And I hadn't used these particular things in my cleanse. And they said, are these supposed to be in the cleanse? Yes. And at that point, I realized that there were plants that would take the cleanse from being just a physical parasite cleanse to a spiritual or emotional or energetic cleanse. And one of them was Joshua tree flower. Joshua tree helps individuals break free from restrictive family or cultural conditioning. It promotes authentic self-identity, offering emotional grounding, resilience, and the ability to release hereditary dysfunctional patterns, fostering independent strength. How many of y'all got hereditary dysfunctional patterns? You got them from your family. Think about that. It also helps to address generational karma, family dysfunctional addiction, depression, and cultural conditioning. True self-identity it helps to promotes the individuation of soul forces, allowing one to become more centered and authentically themselves. Resilience and grounding captures the unique energy of the desert, fostering endurance, stability, and grace. When navigating changes, the ideal user is those who feel trapped by family expectations and ancestral patterns. There's a letter missing. How many of you are dealing with that? And if you are taking a detoxification program, does it address that? This one thing that we added to the program that called out to me in the desert, because remember, things that live in the desert live in a very harsh condition. They have to be very, resilient. So there are desert plants that help to deal with energetic toxicities. You see, I'm going to give you a couple more. Another one, prechesis. That's not even how it's really pronounced, because I've heard the people from Africa, West Africa say it, and I'm saying it, I'm botching the word up. But it helps to remove negative energy, clear blockages, and offer protection against evil forces. What is an evil force? Manifestation and prosperity brings good fortune, prosperity, and abundance to the user. It's used to banish disagreeable, creating space to manifest positive outcomes. This plant, it's used for this. Protection against negativity. Placing the fruit under the pillow is believed to protect against bad dreams, evil, or negative energy. And ancestral. Some of this is really off. A connection. It's used as an offering to ancestors and spirits to show reverence. It helps eradicate energetic parasites and entities. That's just two of the things that we use in the program to help to deal with energetic or what you call pathological entities, patterns, habits. What is a pathology? It's a path. You took a certain path. You were on a certain path for a certain amount of time, and now you're ending up where you are based on that path. So it's about breaking the path, breaking the past, and dealing with you and getting rid or releasing some of those ancestral or family habits that have you in somebody else's business and not minding your own. That's in the cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
That's in our 28-day cleanse. Well, some folks don't even know about the cleanse, but there is a 28-day detoxification program that we offer at Elevation, which is our, you know, it's our premier product that helps people break free from habits, parasites that are systemic, not just the ones in the colon or what they call enteric parasites, which are in digestive tract, but the ones that live throughout the body. And it takes more than just herbs. If somebody tells you herbs can do it, they are not telling you the whole truth. It takes flower essences, it takes essential oils, vibrations, sounds, frequency, copper. We have to infuse copper into the herbs. And this is some of the things that we do, which takes it past just a herbal cleanse. We're working on every part of the body and helping you release the things that have you minding other people's business and not handling your own. So this is something that we offer at elevationtime.com. And it is a sale going on right now. And you can use the discount code down at the bottom until Sunday at midnight if you would like to invest in the cleanse. Also, you can use that same discount code if you'd like to receive one of the medicine drums. By the way, we just sold out again. As soon as we get them, they're gone, because folks realize that sound, music can be something that creates opposition and turmoil and resistance, or it can help be something that helps to free you. And the medicine drum helps to free you from a lot of your habits. Dawn, where you at?
I'm here, and I was just thinking as I was listening to you read about that one ingredient, right? This is what sets the total body cleanse apart. Dr. B's insight and his wisdom in finding herbs that do more than the commercialized parasite cleanses that throw 3 herbs in there that have been known to deal with parasites. But they're not mentioning the number of parasites that they are and the fact that these parasites mutate and say, oh, wormwood, oh, thank you, that's a nice snack. Because it's being thrown at them so frequently that they mutate, and now wormwood becomes something that they
eat.
Eat.
And which wormwood? Which wormwood when they mention, well, wormwood helps to get rid of it. Well, which wormwood? The actual wormwood that really does help to deal with certain parasites isn't even a wormwood. It was misnamed a long time ago, wormwood. Mm-hmm. And people think that's the plant. A lot of plants have been, misdiagnosed, miscategorized. Yes, they have. A lot of them, like if you go to the islands, like dandelion is a totally different plant than the dandelion we call dandelion. Right. So if you just read the average herb book, and almost every herb book that we read, and almost every description of herbs was created by a man who was the first herbal teacher in America. I have his books. In fact, I studied a lot of his work. He named many of the herbs and what he felt they did. Mm-hmm. A lot of the herb books that you're reading are out of date. They're not even. It gets deep. We're going to have an herbology class at some point too, so we could talk about metaphysical. A couple of
years ago, right?
Yes, we did. In fact, we had a class, a herbal class, and we took one of my products, New Life, And New Life was the first product I made when I first started making products way back in the early 1990s. So we taught everybody in the class how to make New Life. We told them what ingredients to get, how to make it, with the timing, and everybody was to come back after we finished the class with the product. So 2 weeks later, folks came back and they all had their jars. And not one person in that class, and a couple of them were quote unquote herbalists. They came, it was nothing like the original product. There was something missing.
The energy, the crystals, the love.
The love, the me-ism, the Doctah B-ism. And one lady had, now this is a liquid, tincture.
Mm-hmm.
One lady had what looked like a tar. And you could grab it. It was a black tar. And you could pull it up like a little tent and it would drop back down. I was like, how did you get that? She said, I followed every instruction, Doctah B. This is why every herbalist is not the same. Every herb is not the same. Every cake, we could get grandma's chocolate cake. I mean, a lot of us got the recipes from grandma. And you might go over your sister's house and she's supposed to have cooked the cake. And you're like, I don't know. That's more like brownies. Because you're infusing yourself into everything.
Energy is everything. You can find 5 people that braid hair and they're all braiders. You're not getting in my crown. No, thank you. Energy is everything. Someone will braid, one person will braid your hair and your hair will fall out.
You see?
You're just adorning a bald head now because the energy of that braider that was in your crown just wasn't a blessing. And so energy is everything. And so even as we teach you to mind your business and business your mind, the personal business management and functioning acquisition class, we will also be talking about the energy of minding your business, right? And you should prepare, if you're preparing to come to that class, you need to do the cleanse, right? Because you are going to need to be able to tap into your own gifts that you decide you want to share with the world. And those don't have to be business gifts, but we all have something that we want to share. We all have the ability to level up or to eagle up. And so as we go through this masterclass, you will be able to unpack things, set aside things that no longer serve you, and pick up gifts that have been sitting there saying, hey, Dawn, hey, Dawn, hey, Dawn. You'll be able to get those. And someone's asking, can you reserve a medicine drum if it's sold out? Every time they go to the website, the drums are sold out.
I'm laughing because it's true. These things are moving and they're going to places that I haven't even heard of.
Yeah.
But what really blew me away was there's a famous percussionist. I'm not going to say his name. I used to look at records in the 70s. I used to read the liner notes. That was when we were really into it and knowing everything about a record. And this guy was on a lot of records. Very famous percussionist. I've always honored his work. He's on. I mean, for everything from Madonna to, almost anything where there was percussion, he'd be on it. And he called me the other day. He says, Dr. P, man, it's really great to meet you. What you're doing. He says, listen, I need that medicine drum. I said, sure, we got it. He says, how quick can I get it? I says, we can get you one fast because we have it in stock. So he got the last one that we had last week, but we ended up talking and started, really vibing. And he said, listen, I have been a commercial percussionist for a long time, and I would like to start doing what you do, creating medicine music and creating music that helps to heal people. So I said, you know what? Let's do it, and let's put together a boot camp. So he and I are going to be developing a boot camp around creating medicine music and healing using drums. So we'll be talking to you about that soon too. But that was the last drum we had in stock. But what happens is if you go buy the drum, you are putting in one on hold. What do you call that when you go to the store? put some money down.
You want layaway?
Layaway. Yeah,
You're not laying away. You're reserving that drum from the
reserve.
next ship. You're reserving the drum in the next shipment.
Yes. So
Right. So
the next shipment will be here in about 2 weeks. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to make it. So if you get it now, you will have it, because that's what happened when they came in. They'd already been reserved.
Right.
You see.
So
you don't need to be a musician. You don't need to be a musician to play it. If you just tap it. In fact, we're going to start putting this chart, a chakra chart, in there so you can know which notes on the drum connect to your chakras. Yes. You could just play it to help tune up your chakras.
The drum is beautiful. The drum is so healing. And I know last week, Doctah B played us out with the drum. The medicine of the drum is real medicine. The medicine of the medicine music at elevationtime.com is so healing. It's an investment, for sure. Someone said it's an investment, but it's beyond worth it. The levels and degrees of healing that you experience, the frequency is healing. There was one person that purchased the drum that said the vibration of the drum that happens even when you're not playing it, the vibration that the drum emits, even as it's just sitting there, is phenomenal. And phenomenal is the word that I would use to describe the frequency of the drum.
There was the lady who said that her family member was dealing with Alzheimer's, and they began to play the drum, and the person began to come back to awareness.
Mm-hmm.
There's other people who have found that by putting the drum on someone begins to tune up their chakras and their energy centers. And chakra centers are actually glandular centers. Where your chakras are is where your glands are. So I feel very good as I hear these messages coming back from all over. There's a lady who is down by the pyramids. She lives right near the pyramids, and she is going to go play it near the pyramids on certain events that happen there. We are pyramids inside of us. We don't have to go to them, but we have frequencies in us that are waiting and to be awakened. The drum itself helps to balance your mindset. Your mind was set sometimes in a situation under duress. You were forced. I remember I was punished for not going along with some of the things. I mean, that growing up in a family that, is been programmed and through what they call domesticated is challenging. You got to break out. But we find that the drum, whether you can play or not, just tapping on it, we find that by taking the cleanse and the herbal products that we have at Elevation Time, reading the book, and this thing about Reiki is everybody's a Reiki master. Everybody's a Reiki master. Guess it's the simplest, quickest thing people can do. But I could tell you that Dawn, her using the word Reiki master, is not what she's doing. I could tell, because before she had become a quote unquote calling herself a Reiki master, she was doing Reiki on the classes. She would do Reiki on the events. She would walk in the room and create this energy. She has this vibration that's just amazing. That's how we ended up buying 2 cars for the price of 1. She knows about business. She's like the business whisperer. She's able to talk to you and what business would you like? And she can help guide you. So if you're looking to, get, funding and grants, and did you know there's grants for stay-at-home moms? There's grants for retired people. I'm finding out, is this right, Dawn, that there's all for musicians who are home working on music who would just like to stay home and what we call starving artists? Are there grants for all those things, Dawn?
There's grants for everything. There's someone somewhere that wanted to fund a person that's 5'1" and below that reads standing on one leg. I mean, they're just people create these categories and they want to give money away in these categories. There are funds that are people that want to just fund struggling artists. There are monies that are available through nonprofit organizations where there's millions and millions of dollars that is given away. Um, you can find monies for everything. There's monies for-profit entities. There's money for nonprofit entities. It is very, there's plenty. Money is everywhere. Money is everywhere, and it comes to me with ease and grace.
I like that. Money is everywhere. How many of you would like to receive more money, more business, more energy, more health, more love, more peace, more balance? How many of you would like to achieve that? Well, you got to have your business plan together.
Right.
Think about your personal business plan. Do you just wake up and just go along with whatever and do whatever the boss tells you to do and your friends, whatever they're doing, and look on IG or Facebook or TikTok or TikTok? That was a lady said that. She said, Dr. B, I don't know how to use TikTok. You know how to use TikTok? I'm like, wow, is that a candy? But there's folks who are very successful and don't use any of those platforms.
Right.
If you become the platform, you have to be yourself. And a lot of these things are causing this distraction. They're tools. I'm not saying don't use it. Even AI is a tool. But
Right.
what about the analog intelligence within yourself? Have you got to the point where you can't even sit down and pick up a pen and write? You see?
Right. You know, one of the things that there's a couple of comments that I want to just go back to, and I've learned this nice little new thing that where I can go back to them very easily. If you were practicing Reiki in the past and you find yourself derailed, you may just need an attunement, right? Even as a Reiki master, we sometimes need an attunement. And there are different types of Reiki. There's Holy Fire Reiki, there's the Karuna Reiki, there's the Kemetic Reiki, there's Usui Reiki. And so sometimes we need an alignment, we need to refine, and we need a clearing. And that can happen very easily. And there are people that are saying they've been looking for grants for a long time and they just end up in a rabbit hole. Real Reiki research, real grant research is a very defined, refined skill set. And AI can't always do it for you. AI may find things for you, but it really can't do it for you, and it can't fill out the grants because funders are now aware that people are using cookie cutter things, and so they want to know that you really can do the things that you're saying. And so doing grant research, sometimes I do classes on specifically how to research grants. There are a million databases that are available for grants, and not all of them are authentic, right? So the authenticity of the grant database that you're using to find the funding, right, is very, it helps a tremendous amount. And like I said, money comes to me easily. I have certain grant databases that I have purchased access to, and I have certain grant listservs that send me grant information according to my NICES codes when grant funding is available, whether it's federal, state, city, or private foundation. And so it's a matter of being able to refine your search and make sure that what you're searching for and who you are and the funding that you're looking for doesn't change just because a pot of money is available. I always tell people, if you are a red dinosaur, then stay a red dinosaur. As soon as this pot of money comes available for purple elephants, don't go and try and squish your red dinosaur body into a purple elephant outfit, because you're not going to be authentic in what you deliver to that funder, and you can come across as very disingenuous and destroy your reputation by doing that. And so all money isn't for you, but there's plenty of money out there for everyone. And I'll say that again. All money may not be for you, but there's so much money out there that there is enough for everyone.
Dawn, didn't I'm starting to remember something. Remember the man on television with the question marks? And he
Yes,
was talking about grants. Didn't you help them get themselves together? And what did you
I
do with
did. I was hired to help them
what was
make
his
the
name? The
links.
question. What was his name first?
I don't remember his name. He had question marks all over his suit.
He was on television all the time talking about
In the
grants.
middle of the night, when you were
Yes.
sitting there bored thinking about your woes, he was on. He had commercials, and they had books that had grants in them. And what they brought me on to do was to actualize some of their links, because their links, as someone in the chat said, took you down a perpetual rabbit hole, and you never really found opportunities to apply for. And so I was hired to um, bring some validity to some of those links, to root out the links that no longer work and bring in some new links, and then also write books, the how-to books on how to apply for government funding, right? And how to really make it so that you would actually be eligible for some of the grants they had listed in those books. Grant writing is an art. Requesting money is an art form. Requesting money, everyone can request it, but I'm not writing 30,000 grants a month and hoping that one or two of them get funded. I'm very specific, very strategic. We're in May, and I think I'm at $29 million worth of funding that I've brought in this year. And I haven't been spending a lot of time writing grants this year. And so it's a matter of being strategic and making every grant. Every grant doesn't get funded. I don't know of a grant writer that gets all grants funded, but I get a lot of my grants funded. And I don't spend time writing grants. I mean, I'll write a $5,000 grant, but I'd rather write a $5 million grant. And so you pick and choose, and you're strategic, and you only deliver those that can be delivered in absolute excellence. And so I'm a refined grant writer that's selective in what I submit, so that I'm not wasting my clients' times and I'm not wasting my time. Because the more we bring in, the more then everybody can eat.
Now, the thing is when you bring Dawn into your business or into your situation, she's using all this. These different Reikis, she's using hypnotherapy. She's got folks getting cleanses because you might decide that you want $100 million, but you got parasites that's going to eat you alive. And now you don't make it to your destination. But what we are saying is that it's just not about business grants. It's about you realizing that you got to write grants about you. What would you like? Health. You've got to be focused on health and healing and eating a certain way and disease. It's all holistic. It's all a part of everything is everything. It's all connected. You see, so parasites come in many ways, and we all should be granted the money, the friendships, in all walks of life. We should be able to tap in at this time, and there are techniques that we will be teaching in our class to help folks tap in on a business level, personal level, personal level, emotional level, relationship level in this class. Minding your business, mind your business, and business your mind.
One thing you said, Dr. B, is you want $100 million in grants, right? And you got $100 worth of vibration in your energy. The math's not mathing. How do you align yourself to be a match for that which you desire? Mind your business and business your mind. You put your mind in that business mindset to make sure that you're aligned for the things that you desire. How long have you been wanting that red Corvette? And is your reticular activation system in alignment to even have it show up in your reality? Right? Are you saying it and saying no at the same time? That's like saying, I want $100,000, and you're nodding, you're shaking your head no. You're not asking for the thing that you desire, you're sending it away. What is your vibrational frequency? What is your body language as you, I bring money into existence with ease and grace? That is what I do. So every part of me is in alignment. My body language, my head movement, all of that is in alignment. As I say, I bring money into existence with ease and grace in every part of my life. And so it
And
is.
if we take that word money and turn it into currency, in order to heal your physical conditions, we have to change the way frequency moves through you. Your
Mhm.
currency is your electricity, your electrical flow, and you have to be current, right? Be present and see what's right in front of you. Many of us already have it in us. If you have a group of cells or an organ that is not operating correctly, there's another group of cells or DNA genes that actually fix broken genes. But
Right.
our mindset, the way we think, our business statement is how you speak of yourself. What's
Right.
your why? Why would you like 100 million? Why would you like to be healthy? Why would you like to be clear? Why would you like to have the most incredible love life? All has to do with how you're speaking into the world, what you're
Mhm.
saying, what statements. Well, in our class, we're going to talk about these repeat statements that people say that reduce themselves. I can't, I won't, I shouldn't, I couldn't, my little this, my little that, my family said, my brother did. We get into speaking ourselves and using this language, which is a parasite. In the book, there's a whole chapter on the parasites that are based on language.
Well, I just want to reiterate because we're winding down. If you're interested in the master class, Personal Business Management and Funding Acquisition, Mind Your Business and Business Your Mind, it will be taking place on June 6th. And to be considered for the class, you need to send us 2 paragraphs on why you should be, why being in the class is your desire, and what your vision is for um, you and participating in this class. So why you and what's your vision? Please send us those 2 paragraphs to dawn@elevationtime.com. We'll be sending out some information this week. The class is scheduled for June 6th. Personal Business Management and Funding Acquisition, Mind Your Business and Business Your Mind. In addition to that, to be ready for the class, you need to do your cleanse. You need to be in the path of taking the cleanse or preparing to take the cleanse because it is going to fully enable you to mind your business and business your mind.
So, Don, somebody says that don't use AI to write your 2 paragraphs. Are you going to notice that if you could tell AI wrote something? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, you can.
It doesn't have certain things and that soul.
There's a feeling that is void of AI. I mean, you can train AI to write like you, but there's still a feeling that's void in AI. As a writer, as a grant writer that has had to write a 150-page grant from scratch without AI, without, shoot, I was writing them before there was really spell check. So,
Mm.
I've been writing grants a long time, and the spell check was me, my dictionary, my thesaurus, all those things, right? And so, you don't feel you can write more than 2 paragraphs. There's not a limit on the amount. I've gotten some people have taken the time to write some very, very beautiful, and we so appreciate it because it gives us the opportunity to not only receive what you're saying, but as we're putting together everything that we'll be presenting, it gives us the opportunity to make sure that we have you in mind when we're doing it. And so please take your time, write it. If you need to use AI, because you're not a writer and that's what you want, then go ahead and just make sure it is expressing what you truly desire. Everyone isn't a writer and everyone doesn't feel comfortable writing and sending things. So by any means necessary, send in your 2 paragraphs. Send those 2 paragraphs to dawn@elevationtime.com. And we will be making our selections. We've got a lot of people coming in, and we're not, when we say making selections, we're selecting topics. We're wanting there to be enough room for everyone. It's online, so there shouldn't be a limit, but we'll also be looking forward to our in-person class. So write what you feel, put as much of your soul into it as you can. Send the 2 paragraphs to Dawn@elevationtime, Dawn@elevationtime.com. The class is called Personal Business Management and Funding Acquisition. Mind your business and business your mind. The class will be on June 6th. I'm so excited about this class because the energy that is floating around it from everyone is wonderful.
And it will be a 1-day class. And from that, we'll know where to go from that point. And
Yes.
Also for those of you who are writing your letters, go into your heart and one of the biggest challenges we've had in the past is asking too small. Ask big. Let's look into who we truly are. Realize that this is 2026, and in 2026, in the gene keys, we're at gene key 55. If you read just look it up, gene key 55, it breaks down what this year is about in this time and how we're going from being the nymph, which lives in the polluted swamp water for most of its life, and we're moving into the development of the dragonfly. So we're in the dragonfly's dream. We reach this new place in 2027 where everything changes. And, right around the time of the equinox, they said that there would be a blue star to let us know that we were actually on the right path moving into this new time. And it showed up. It was a blue star. Now we're at this full moon. They said there will be a very special full moon, right? And this full moon is letting us know that things will be popping up that you need to see. Just some things some trash you need to take out. There's some emotions that you might need to let go of and not hold in and tell some people the truth. This is the time to figure out who we truly are, because as we move into 2027, who we are will be solidified, and you may not be able to get out of this. So there is a time for us to move and to do the transmutation. This is a time of alchemy. Let's release some things, and it takes an investment. It truly takes an investment. We just, so many things on the internet for free, and there's a lot of things we can learn, but to get the real deal, there mostly is not going to be too many places that you can go where you can get the real wisdom that can change your entire life. So we're going to be giving something that's going to be life-changing. So get your letters in. Dawn, what's the address again? Where can they send the letters?
Dawn@elevationtime.com. It's
Butterfly Kiss.
Elevationtime.com. I did put it in the chat.
Okay, good.
And it's right under my picture.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. It's right in front of you. How many things in our lives are actually right in front of us?
Yes.
And we don't see it because our programming are what? We're basing our whole outcome sometime on psychic pathogens that are controlling our path and our direction. So we may have to do, I think we got to do a part 3 on this, Dawn, because we've still only got 2 more pages in this part.
Well, it's so very, it's very real. It's very relevant to what's going on in the world today. And you can't rush through this information.
So read your book.
Read your book. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. As always, it has been enlightening. It has been inspiring. It has been uplifting. I'm honored to have spent this time with you all this morning. Order your drum. today. So, because they're going to sell out again.
They will.
Order your book so you can follow along with us. And as you're preparing to come to this class to birth to be able to birth what's inside of you, to be able to mind your business and business your mind, please consider ordering your cleanse. I'm so excited. I'm just at the tail end of my cleanse, and I feel amazing. Amazing. And if you look back to 28 days ago when we did the broadcast and you look at, you'll see the difference from where I was then to where I was now, just in my glow. And so I'm so grateful. It's been a wonderful cleansing experience for me. It's been nice to be able to share each step of my cleanse with all of you. And I'm super excited as we for the class. There are discount codes scrolling under. It's PP15 for the 15% off. That 15% off can also be applied to your drum. So that 15% off can be applied to your drum as well.
And the drum's price will be going up at 12 midnight tonight, because we just found out that some of the materials that we use to make the drum, where they're sourced, are that those prices are rising. So if you get one this afternoon, then you'll get it at the price right now that's there. So you can use that code PP15 and get on our email list. Make sure you're on the email list, and you can follow Dr. B right now at YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Also, Doctah B Sirius on what's the other platforms? TikTok. Even though I don't know how to really work
Instagram,
Facebook. And Facebook. Dawn, are you on social media? You're not on social media.
I am on social media. I'm on Instagram at Do Drops of Wisdom. It's D-O, like my initials, Drops of Wisdom. That's my Instagram handle. So, yes, the code is good till Sunday.
At midnight.
15% off at midnight. So please order your cleanse. If you don't have your book, get your book today. Please send an email to dawn@elevationtime.com if you're interested in the class. Once again, the class is titled Personal Business Management and Funding Acquisition, Mind Your Business and Business Your Mind. And that class will take place on June 6th. So we hope to see all of you there. Send your 2 paragraphs in so that we can know who you are and why you want to be there and how we can be of service to you. Thank you all for joining us today. It's been amazing.
And there's only one drum, the Medicine Drum 432. That's the only one. If you go to elevationtime.com, you can see a complete description of that particular drum. And the cleanse and many of the products are actually on sale right now for the beginning of this new month, this new vibration, this new moon. And you can use that discount code PP15 for 15% off of everything in your cart. We want to thank you all. Much love to you. All the staff that has helped over here at Elevation, we want to thank all of you. And those of you who are helping from afar, like Butterfly Kissed, and some of you who are recurring friends and family. We're coming to you soon. So
remember to like and share this video.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to take it out with a little of the medicine drum. Would that be okay?
Yes. 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 Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you. See you again soon, Dawn.
Yes.
I'm going to play a little drum. you very much. Make sure you're on the email list at elevationtime.com. We'll see you again soon. Much love, peace, harmony, and wholeness. Thank you very much.